I had multiple people say that they thought for sure collective shift would be like over. And then like with all the shit that happened last year with our mate, like just would have been dead and like no chance this thing has any chance of like winning, right? Or coming back, like just wrap it up, it's all over. And 18 months later, we've got one of the biggest booths there. We're doing a keynote speaking. We just raised some money. We're on the way up again. People are like, "Holy, how the hell did you do that? Like, how is this going, right?" And that was really inspiring. It was really nice. Welcome back to episode 15 of the Ben and Bergs Show, your favourite MBA and college dropout, talking about everything investing, crypto, Web3, life, sport, food, and just general shit talking. Bergs?
Mate,
sorry,
love it. Absolutely love it.
Sorry for being a little bit late today. I'm a little bit hungover.
Mate, you're always late. What are you talking about? You're literally like, oh, let's meet up at 3 o'clock. And it's like 3 o'clock. I'm like, cool, waiting around. I'm like, where's Ben? I'm like, I'll just get on with some work. He's probably busy. It's like, then I message you like, oh yeah, man, let's just do like 4 o'clock, mate. That works for me. That'd be really good. We could do later if you want. Every time. I even posted on LinkedIn, I updated the thing about being a co-host on the pod. And then you're just like, yeah, mate, that's awesome. Or some crap like that. I'm like, why are you posting and not jumping into the pod?
At the time I was supposed to do the pod.
Unbelievable, mate.
At the time I was supposed to do the pod, I'm congratulating you for being a co-host on the show. I'm supposed to be...
The absolute worst.
It was 4
Mate,
o'clock. Anyway, man.
Your internet is absolutely rubbish. Where are you in the world, mate?
I'm down to 2 bars. I'm on the Gold Coast, mate. We had the Australian Crypto Convention up here on the weekend, and it was massive, mate. Biggest Australian crypto conference we've ever had. Dave from the Crypto Den organised it. Unbelievable. He did a fantastic job. Over 3,000 or 4,000 attendees. We had a booth there. I spoke a couple of times on Sunday. And mate, it is just, I love it, man. I love the in real life community aspect. Like the crypto people are so just awesome. And mate, we were just like, there was 4 of us. It was Matt, Nick, myself, and we just got like absolutely just swamped all day. Saturday was insane, mate. The line was so far long out the door, they actually stopped scanning people's tickets and they said, right, just everyone in. There was just too many people.
That is crazy. This is one of the biggest events, right?
It's the biggest event in Australia, and it's the first one. So here on the Gold Coast, going to Melbourne next year. I did a keynote on why you should care about crypto, and I sort of like some practical investing strategies. But it was really aimed for beginners. So I had all my slides ready. Yeah. It's more like bringing people in. The first question I asked was, who here owns crypto? And every single person put their hand up. And I was like, okay, how long have you been in crypto?
Completely different.
Like more than 2 years, and everyone put their hand up. I was like, oh, fuck. My whole presentation is not meant for you guys. And I started talking, and then I was like, it's packed crowd, right? 120 people, packed to the brim. There's people outside, there's people sitting on each other, standing up, like, crazy. And I was like, oh, fuck. This is not going to be valuable whatsoever. So actually, you'll see the recording when it comes. I actually take a deep breath, because I was like, oh, this is going to be a fucking train wreck. If no one cares about like a smart contract or why you need Bitcoin, everyone fucking owns it. Like, doesn't matter. So I took a deep breath. I was like, okay, fuck the slides. I'm just winging it. So I just basically just went off the cuff for 20 minutes, did Q&A, and yeah.
How'd it go?
Nailed it. I think heaps of people loved it.
Nailed it, of course. You are such a fucking amateur. You rock up to a crypto convention going, who's bought crypto? You go, oh shit, I did the wrong talk. I can't recycle my talk I've been using for 20 years.
No, I hadn't really thought about it. I was just too busy, man. Then I hadn't really prepared. I was sort of rocked up in the morning. I was like, I still didn't even think about it. I just rocked up and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, hold on a minute. This is probably, there's going to be no newbies here. We're in the bottom of a bear market.
Mate, love that forward really planning.
Good.
Amazing.
It was really good. And then we had a panel, so we spoke about Web3 education. And it was good. There was a lot of it was good to crypto events up here in Queensland. Like I haven't been up, north too much here, but, a real common theme was, a lot of people were trying to make money too fast in crypto. Like everyone's trying to, sign up to these trading bots and these algorithms and these 1% a day. And everyone's trying to fast track making money. And I'm seeing it's a big problem.
It's weird that no one wants to get rich slowly. This is the same thing as trying to look. You right there, mate?
Sucking down coffee, mate.
You're basically just choking on that thing, mate. Wait, let me finish this point, and then you're gonna get it. This is the thing. No one wants to get rich slowly, and it's the same as losing weight or putting on muscle. No one wants to do it slowly. We all know how to do it. We all know how to eat healthy. We know how to exercise, how to lift weights. But it takes time and it takes patience, and these are the things that are worth achieving. It's like building your wealth. Everyone knows how to invest. Bare minimum. Not financial advice. Take 10% of your income if you can afford it. Stick it in an ETF or something like that. Do it week after week, month after month, and let it compound. And eventually you'll be way ahead of everyone else. These are very simple things. Even like people my parents' age, they didn't have, ETFs and all that stuff. So they just bought another house. That's the one thing they did. They bought one rental property, and it cost them maybe $20-30 a week extra, whatever it was. They did that over a series of years, and when they retire, that house is worth $500,000, $700,000. They're $700,000 ahead of all their peers just for doing that one simple action.
I love it.
But everyone wants that, like, I'm going to be a trader. I need a bot. I need some weight loss pills. I need to get my stomach stapled.
And one of the biggest questions I got was like, what should I buy? Basically, where should I be investing my money? And what I find is people with these trying to get rich quick through crypto is they jump different trends. They jump on whatever's the latest. It's gaming, it's metaverse, it's NFTs, it's DeFi, it's yield farming, whatever. They're jumping, not really going deep on a particular vertical. They're trying to be just an expert at everything. And I said to everyone there, I said, because there's so many people at gaming and metaverse, events, so many people. I said, the one area, I wouldn't be investing in right now. It's probably gaming and metaverse. Because by the time you get that attention, by the time you get into mainstream and everyone's excited and into it, it's too late. Where you make money is buying things 12, 18, 24 months ahead of time. So where is the trends going? Where's their investments going? That's where you need to be looking ahead, where the people aren't looking right now.
And it's super hard in that gaming space as well, because it's a network effect and you need lots of traction. You need to get the users in. And once you can see month on month, the monthly average users going up in those companies, that's a much better indication of which ones to pick up.
100%. So that was a big takeaway.
Now, mate.
Yeah, sorry, go.
Mate, so the reason you're sucking down bloody... what are they, soy lattes or whatever they are, is because you called me up this morning. The first thing you said, Bergs, man, fucking hungover as shit. So you went... Last night was the last night of the conference, and look at him sucking it down.
Mate, I'm dehydrated. Mate, I've been on the sauce for about 4 days in a row. Like, these crypto people, I tell you, mate. Crypto in real life,
classic entrepreneur, high-functioning alcoholic.
Literally, mate, you cross startup and crypto people. Oh my goodness! Like,
oh yeah,
mate. There was someone at the conference on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. when we first got there. Greg, it wasn't Greg. It was Greg met this person. She was still sucking down a Captain Morgan can at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning from the night before. She hadn't slept. She rolled straight through.
Mate, so good. You're on the Goldie. What do you expect?
No, but so Saturday night we had the VIP whales night, mate. So I was up swimming with the whales. It was at the 19 club at the Star Casino. They put 30k. I think they put 30k over the bar, and it was just on. And it was an hour to go. They still had 10k left on the bar, so it was just like, righto, well,
bottles.
No worries, bottoms up. Wrapped up about 1 or 2. Then we had the event all day yesterday, and then I was just like, it's just been a huge day. So we, a couple of skewies, and we hosted the after party. Mate, 350 people packed out the James Squire pub just around the corner here. It was wall to wall, mate. 350 people. We threw it out. It was first drink was for free. This was our collective shift happy hour. First drink was for free, mate. It was gone in 20 minutes. We had to go from $1,000 to $3,500. It was like absolutely pumping, mate. And then I got up and said a few words. Just sort of thanked everyone, because one of the biggest things I love about the crypto events is not necessarily the conference, it's the event afterwards, right? It's like the networking.
Oh, for sure.
The vibes. And that was the best thing I found in America. It's going and networking and seeing your friends and like meeting new people, having a few beers. That's what I said over the microphone. Like, we didn't shill anything. We weren't doing a panel. It was like, no, let's just like have a few beers and catch up. And then, but all of a sudden, everyone was into it. There's Tracy was there. Greg was there. Like the AFL Mint guys, like everyone was there. Just like, it was just on.
So good. You showed me a video of that and it was mental. I saw the receipt on Twitter as well. That was huge. I'm like, yeah, that's Ben on a night out. And then, so this is the behind the scenes, okay? What do I get? I'm holding down the fort, for the team, the leadership, like bloody other leader, Arman, old mate. He's off on leave. Ben's fucking just drinking himself stupid. So, I got to look after everything back at the fort, make sure it's all running nice. well-oiled machine, mate. Everyone's looking to me for leadership.
Fucking give it a rest,
And then
mate.
what do I get?
Half the team was up here, mate. Half the team was up here. Who are you looking after?
Don't tell them that part. They're messaging me, mate. They're like, Ben's on the piss again. What do I do?
Who's they?
It was Shano, mate. It was Shane.
He was on the piss with me.
No. So behind the scenes on Slack, this is what I get, right? I get this bloody thing from Ben and Trace at the pub. They've had a fair few. And like, Tracy's nice. She's like, where are you, Bergs? Come on. What are you doing? You should be here. Ben's just like, where are you, dog? It's like the best half of Perth is here and you're still at home, mate. Absolutely
Just
stitching me up.
lighted
They've
down.
both got the glassiest eyes you've ever seen. Oh my god.
Oh,
It was
mate,
so funny.
It was so funny. Anyway, so
It looked amazing. And you were telling me, mate, and I can't believe this, I reckon this is bullshit, but people were actually lining up to talk to you, mate.
no, that's it wasn't all the time. I think like when at the event, a lot of people just want to come up and say thanks for when you're hosting free drinks. It was good, but it was just really nice to meet the community. I think for so many people, it was like they see our content, they see our stuff online, but just from an in real life perspective, I think it was just good to meet. And there was so many members. There was probably 25 members there that were just it was so awesome to see them in real life.
That's so good. This is something we should talk about. So as a startup, we do a lot of digital kind of stuff. This is an in real life thing. Do you want to talk a bit about the booth you had, the talks, the seminar, how it all kind of worked and what you think it did for Collective Shift?
So we went to the Gold Coast really to solidify ourselves as a leader in the crypto education space. And we had a pretty big booth. Like we invested a bit of money. It's not cheap. But the stuff that you get in real life is unlike anything else. One, the interactions with your members, potential members. You get the in real life keynotes and talks, which is very rare. You get someone's attention for 35 minutes. You think about like watching an Instagram video or YouTube video. You're always doing stuff. You're walking around. You're distracted. You've got 35 minutes or 20 minutes to deliver a message where people aren't distracted. They're sitting in a room. They're sitting on a chair. They're there to see you. So that's engagement like you don't get anywhere else. So you can deliver a lot more value. Then also the partnerships, like going to conferences in your industry, good ones. I think some of them can be a bit of a waste of money, especially like the sponsorship's not cheap. But to be in the area where like all the top heads are, like all the major exchanges were there, all the major players were there this weekend. So you can have, drinks with them, you can have a coffee, have conversations, and so many partnerships and opportunities come out of this weekend. Like it was a massive, and there was 4 of us there and we were slammed, like a lot of trying to, and even down to the product, trying to explain your product to different people in real life. That's been an interesting thing. There's a few takeaways that we've found. It's like, there's actually some problems in our product and how we're delivering it. Like, what are people's problems? How we're solving it? And even having those conversations in real life is so much more different to just online.
And that stuff is so valuable as well. And just, I think with you, going through the kind of speaking circuit and getting eyes on Collective Shift, doing multiple podcasts, but then the in real life thing where you've got the booth and people can come up and you've got a keynote, and then Matt and Nick did a seminar on
Dude,
how
Matt
to think
and
about
Nick killed it. They did a investing workshop and it was packed, right? Nick has never, ever done public speaking. Nick doesn't even want to, he's not that he doesn't want to, but he doesn't really love getting in front of...
It's a challenge for him, like all of
front
us.
a camera,
like
right?
we all hated it when we started.
But, even from... Yeah, exactly. Like...
It's unnatural,
it's
right?
Very unnatural. But even Nick in front of a camera sitting at home is quite uncomfortable. And this guy was up on stage in front of like 100 people, packed out, dropping absolute value bombs. It was unbelievable. I was having like a proud dad moment. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome.
So Nick is our senior research analyst, and he's such a beast where he's at that stage where he's kind of getting comfortable with it and working on his kind of public speaking confidence. But man, even in the Discord lives, he just winds up and just knocks people out. Like, he is just so good with his knowledge. It is so deep. I just sit there in awe and just like listen to him like a little kid when they all sit around the teacher. Like, he is such a beast on the tools. Mate, that's so good to hear. And apparently the line was out the door as well, mate. Pack that one out too.
Yeah, it was great. I think that was one takeaway as well. Like, content has really been working for us. Like, a lot of people, not members, were bundling me up in the hallway and like when, in the booth or just walking around and like, oh man, I've been watching your content, I've seen you online, man, you've been everywhere. Where have you? How's Sydney? How's LinkedIn? Like, people really can sort of be on that journey with you in that content game. So I think content has been a real sort of key differentiator for us recently. Just we've invested a lot into content creation. I mean, look at what we're doing here. This is fun, but it's also really helpful to get the brand out there, right? Content is a good differentiator.
Yeah, and you stay top of mind. Like every time I log in, there's your little head, no matter what social it is, and you've got something to say. Like it's just constantly being top of mind. Now, speaking of doing the pod, I heard that you ran into a fan, mate. You got to tell me about this.
We met our number one fan. He comes over to me.
So good.
Gives me a big hug and he goes, "Fucking chicken burger."
What a legend. What a legend. Oh, I'm so filthy I couldn't be there
like,
now.
"What's going on, mate? I love the pod." You know, he's like, "How's Bergs going, mate?" I was like, oh. Mate, he sounded like us. I was like, "Oh, you are
so good.
You are
so
a
good.
proper listener."
Oh, mate, he sounds like one of our people.
Absolute legend, mate. No, he loves the pod, avid listener, loves the business aspect, loves the crypto aspect. No, he was a top fella. So good to meet in
That's
real life.
great.
Better Bergs fans.
Amazing. And what were people saying about the Collective Shift brand? Because Collective Shift's only been around for just over a year.
Yeah.
And the position that you started in and where we've kind of moved towards now. What was the feedback on that?
Unbelievable. You know, a lot better than probably what I
awesome.
would have expected. You know, with all the shit that happened last year, like people really saw that where we've come from and where we are now, and people were surprised. I had multiple people say that they thought for sure Collective Shift would be like over, and then you know, be like with all the shit that happened last year with our mate, like just would have been dead and like no chance this thing has any chance of like winning, right, or coming back. Like just wrap it up, it's all over. And 18 months later, we've got one of the biggest booths there. We're doing a keynote speaking. We just raised some money. We're on the way up again. People are like, "Holy shit! How the hell did you do that? Like, you know, how is this going?" Right? And that was really inspiring. It was really nice to hear that. And I think it's just down to transparency and going through when you go through those tough times, just being transparent, you know, and open and honest as you can, and doing the right thing. And I think that's what we've been. You know, we've definitely been doing that over the last 18 months and since the sort of start of Collective Shift, and I think that's the reason why we're here today.
And it's also the consistency and intensity that you put in every single day. Not just you, but the entire team.
Yeah.
Like we're all aligned and we're all executing and we're deliberately, like, you know, we're going in one direction and that is paying dividends. And it takes a while to get that flywheel spinning. But once it does, you start to see results like this.
100%. 100%. One thing that wasn't consistent on the weekend, though, Bergs, was the fucking Lions, mate. We got absolutely annihilated.
The Lions.
We got Friday night. Sorry, Lions. You got absolutely.
Oh, Lions.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Absolutely annihilated. So first of all, the first mistake was the first issue we had. We rolled in the Star Casino and watching the sports bar, and they had the bloody NRL on TV. I was like, "What the hell?" Canberra versus Sydney. We're in the Gold Coast.
Yep.
The Lions are playing a knockout final, and we're showing the fucking NRL.
Queenslanders don't do AFL, mate.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so they're showing it out the balcony. So we got a shaft out the balcony to watch a knockout fucking AFL game. Like, Jesus, what's going on here, boys? Anyway, that was dreadful. So
and what happened, mate? What happened?
Oh no, I couldn't tell you. I can't remember.
So I sent Ben a text, and it was just like a nice one, just going, "Mate, what's going on?" He's like, "Don't fucking start." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" You would have been so filthy, mate. I was like, "Oh, yeah, he's pissed. I'm not going to push him."
Yeah, because I was just copping it from everyone, and then Bergs goes, he's like, "What's going on, mate?" I'm like, "Just fuck off, mate." I was like, I'm pretty sure I said that. I was like, "Don't talk to me, mate."
Yeah. You're like, "No, not now. Just fuck off." Oh, mate. Oh, crazy.
So no, that was good.
So you're out. You're free.
We're out free. I mean, I've off to Dubai on Friday, so like that's good. I'm not going to have to worry about trying to find a pub where I can watch it. But mate, did you watch the Collingwood Sydney game?
Oh, I watched the kind of a bit of the first half, and I was like, "This is going nowhere." And then I'm like, "It's done." And then I went to my mate's house for dinner, and then turned it on just as like the last kind of seconds were playing, and then saw that ending. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What was it like watching the game, mate?
Oh, it's insane. Like they actually showed it inside on Saturday night, and it was going off. Like,
yeah,
there was only fisticuffs. Like there was table versus table, the Sydney tables, Collingwood tables, and like such an intense comeback. I mean, Collingwood were down 36 points. They come back to within a point. So it was a wicked game, top game.
Amazing.
But Bergs, there was bigger news. We had the acquisition of Figma from Adobe for $20 billion.
Just a lazy 20 billy, mate.
Holy
How
smokes,
crazy
mate.
is this?
Walk us through what happened. What's going on?
All right. For those that don't know, Figma is just it's an online collaboration tool for designers, right? We use it in our business, and it just works. It is such a good tool. We use it for knocking up like UI, website stuff, and it is absolutely brilliant. So I'll do a bit of a quick history on Figma. They began, like the two guys when they were studying computer science, working on Figma in 2012. They had some years off the tools and then released version 1 in like 2016. And their mission is, I quite like this. They allow anyone to be creative by creating a free, simple, creative tools in browser, which is a key kind of differentiation point. And just before we get to the acquisition, but why is Figma awesome? And there's a couple of features that they absolutely nailed, and I just love diving into products and looking at this stuff. So the first one is, if you've ever done design, like back in the day, you'd load up something like Illustrator, Photoshop, you'd work on it kind of locally, or you need to save files, you need to finalize them, you need to do all this stuff, have different versions. That's all bullshit. What they invented was this online tool, and it's got an infinite canvas. So you could just duplicate stuff, you can keep moving across, and it's just awesome. We do that with our website, so you got different versions, you can compare them side by side. Amazing. They focused heavily on interface designers. So they were like a really neglected area where you had tools like Balsamic and a few other ones where you're creating an interface for software, and you don't need heaps of different tools that you kind of hack together. You could just use this one tool and make a beautiful interface and explain it to someone. Another amazing thing, 90% of their product is free. So you only have to pay if you're part of a team. So they made a great product and they worried about that monetization later. So that was really key. And if you're thinking about it, you want to attract people to that business, and this is kind of like a network product, a network effect, and you do that by making it free. You just send someone a link, bang, you can join.
Well, it's so easy, right?
Like when you guys sent me the Figma thing.
Yeah, so easy. They must have done a lot of work, like speaking.
Yeah, exactly. You can just sign in with Google,
seeing what like works and what problems people had. And like I remember they always just have pop-ups like asking for feedback and features and like releasing new stuff. Like they're really product customer driven, which is a real sort of takeaway. I mean, how long have they been around, Bergs?
Yeah, so it's from 2012, but 2016 they released V1. And just a couple of other reasons why they win though. But like that network effect. So think about it. You're a designer. You love Figma. You're in it. What are you going to do? You're going to pull in other designers. You just send them a link. You sign up with your Gmail. It's got OAuth. Bang. No friction. You're already collaborating within 2 minutes. You're already signed in your browser. It just works. Even other things like imagine I'm a consultant and I want to show you something. I have to jump on like a video conference. I have to screen share. I have to do all this crap. With Figma, you can literally just share your screen and you can follow along. You can see where their mouse is. You can talk on the phone while you're both following along on different computers. It's absolutely awesome. And then they got insane engineering. So they've given you like a full desktop experience in a browser without downloading any software or doing anything. That is just next level. Like you don't have any, wrappers or apps or whatever. Brilliant. And they release features at an insane pace. Like you're saying, you always get an email like, hey, tell us how we're doing better. Hey, we release these features. They're releasing them faster than you can actually learn them. So they're just so driven on this product and releasing new stuff to drive customer behavior to them. Absolutely beautiful. And one I like, it's extensible. So this is a really nerdy term, but this means you can build your own tools and share them. So let's say you want something within Figma and it's not there, you can build that tool and you can share it across the entire community. And if you want something nowadays, I'm telling you, that shit's already built. You can just go into Figma and you can use it. And really, it's the company you utilize nowadays. It's like, as soon as you have a startup, you use Figma. You don't have to wait, export, share, get feedback. You can get feedback in real time. Like we work with our designer Drevs. I'm like, bro, go and make this. He'll go and make it. And as he's designing it, I can just jump in at any time and start giving him feedback rather than him going too far and having to bring it back and us costing a lot of money. It's beautiful, man. So it's an amazing product and it absolutely wins.
How much did they raise, Bergs?
And I'm going to go into their...
Yeah.
So let's go into their funding because I found this super interesting. So June 2013, they raised 3.8 million in seed funding. I think before this, they had like a Thiel fellowship. This is the same one that Vitalik got, and it was about 100 grand. Peter Thiel gives it to you. So 3.8 million in 2013. In 2015, they raised a $14 million Series A. In February 2018, they raised a $25 million Series B. In Feb 2019, so just a year later, they raised another $40 million in Series C. And then in April 2020, so just over a year later, they raised another $50 million in Series D. Jeez, mate. In June 2021, they raised $200 million in Series E funding round. And if you look at their revenue, it's just kind of like almost exponential. It's just going up and up as more people come in.
Yeah.
And they were valued at $2 billion in April 2020 and $10 billion by the end of May 2021.
That's insane,
and
bro.
now we know they're valued at $20 billion.
So 10 years later, they're exiting.
This is insane.
Billion.
Like when you
20 billion, sorry.
But this proves a really good point. How long it actually takes to build something. So they've been thinking about this for over 10 years and actively building for like 8 years. This is like a long time coming. Not every company gets here, but they were just so focused on their customers and delivering that mission that they had. And now Adobe has come along. And this is the deal, okay? This is the deal that they struck. So the market cap of Adobe is $150 billion, or it was just before the deal last week. They purchased them for $20 billion, and the deal comprised of half cash and half stock in Adobe. Mm-hmm. So they're using like just over 10% of what they have to buy this competitor. And their stock fell by 20 billion, like pretty much the equivalent, right? Because when you value it, you look at the acquisition, the free cash flow is going to throw off, all this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it was a bit of an overreaction by the market, and you generally see these things. But why did they do this? And this is your jam, man. So if you think about it, Adobe's builds this like desktop monolithic kind of software, right? And they do have some online tools. They did pivot to a subscription model, but you've got this new agile web thing that everyone uses. You only need the one tool. The majority of it is free. And there's all these customers that are moving towards it, and they're just attracting that. And if you think about this, like I heard a brilliant thing where in 10 years, the software that people are building, like all the incumbents, the people that are dominating today, they're going to lose their competitive advantage because you'll be able to compete with them because you'll have a lot of no code, and like software will just be a lot easier in 10 years time, and they can't pivot their monolithic software. And this brings me back to your point. Is this a Netflix and Blockbuster moment? And did Adobe get it right? What are your thoughts, mate?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't even know what Adobe do. Like I mean, I do, but like, you got the Photoshop and da-da-da-da-da. But I mean, Figma is this new up-and-coming product that's just absolutely taken by storm. And it just says a natural acquisition, right? And I that doesn't make sense to me why the market cap would decrease after an acquisition like that. Like, as you said, maybe a little bit of an overreaction. But, man, like, I think this is a great move by Adobe. I mean, you look at, the Blockbuster example where they told Netflix to get stuffed with their idea. And I think this is good. Like, these big conglomerates, they have to adapt and move, and like this is just a way that they can continue growing and being at the forefront is by acquiring amazing businesses like Figma. And I've used Figma for like 3 or 4 years, and it's so seamless. Yeah. It's one of those products that you just I'm probably using like every week, and I didn't even realize like of course it's valuable. Like, man, it's so easy. Like, I've never had a problem with it. Just a great product.
And even their collaboration boards like FigJam, where you can get in, you can brainstorm, is so good.
Yeah.
And this, I'm glad Adobe got this right. It takes me back to 2019 when I was studying strategic management. So this is like our capstone unit in the MBA, and we're having a discussion about Tesla and I think it was Audi or something. And they were saying, like, from a CFO perspective, how much attention are you going to put into Tesla, this up-and-coming kind of, small company. There might have been a startup at the time. They weren't producing many cars. They were in a lot of debt. The company wasn't that great. And I said a lot of attention, and I got beat the fuck down by everyone in class. They were like, look at this. Like, Audi's like, I don't know how many billion. Like, Tesla's like, a couple of 100 million. Not even that. It was just like this huge company. And the professor at the time, he said, an elephant doesn't concern itself with the feelings of an ant. And I just thought, what the fuck? And I was like, nah, you guys have got this wrong for sure. Sure enough, I didn't buy any Tesla stock, and I should have. But it's one of those things where people don't understand how quickly innovation can accelerate, how quick adoption curves can happen, and how fast network effects happen.
Yeah, and it also this is my topic when I talk. Digital transformations don't care about your personal opinions. You know, the market decides. It doesn't take into consideration if the market decides that this is better than its previous. Like, is downloading movies from the screen of your TV better than going into a Blockbuster store and actually picking up the VCR? Well, someone's opinion might be, oh no, like no one would ever want to do that. Like, they're going in and feeling and looking at the cover and like, that's great. You can have that opinion, but the market decided that we'd much rather sit on our couch on our ass and not go anywhere and download a movie. The market decided. Didn't care what Blockbuster thought.
And you think about all those pain points. You have to drive there to the the bloody movie store, right? You have to look through all the DVDs. They might not have the one that you want. If you get it, you have to go with their shitty pricing and how many weeklies and overnight ones. Then you have to return it. Whereas this is just one flat fee. You don't have to leave your house. You can do it whenever you want.
And I think for tying this back to crypto, you know, people always sort of ask, well, okay, why isn't it adopted more then? Why isn't, you know, like if crypto's so good, why aren't more people using it? It's because the experience isn't the Netflix experience yet. It's the typewriter experience. The technology's there, but we haven't cracked the experience. I used the example on my talk on Saturday.
Yeah.
Think about when you want to go and put on a bet on sportsbet. Like, I could do it within the next 12 seconds. It'd be 2 clicks and I've had a bet on the AFL next week. It's so easy. If I want to go and buy like an old coin on Uniswap, oh Jesus! Like, I just want to, like, you know, stab my eyes out. Like, I need to put aside an hour and a half. I can't stuff up. I need to be like concentrating. I get stressed. I've got anxiety.
You've got to think so much.
Oh my goodness! But once that becomes a sports bet experience, the ability for you to own your own money, send it anywhere in the world instantly with no fees, no one can take it off you. It's got all the, like, Bitcoin, the monetary systems around limited supply, everything you need in a financial asset, plus all these other things around Ethereum and other crypto assets, is so much better than the current system. But it's just difficult to use.
Just even you talking about like Uniswap, like, you have to know what that is, how it works, that it's safe, how to look up a contract address, how to all this shit.
Yeah.
It is just so much, and you freak out. And I think you're right. Like, crypto is like the original Netflix experience, where they used to have, you know, vending machines with DVDs inside when they were testing their model, or they'd mail you kind of DVDs. Yeah. Like, it's slightly better, but it's still like horrendous. And if you're in a country like Australia, the banking's pretty good. You don't need to do all this stuff.
Going back to the personal opinions thing and like your example when you're at work, another thing that I spoke about on Saturday was around what I don't like is when people give opinions about shit that they don't know about. And right? And they're happy. I gave the example of Warren Buffett. He's historically amazing investor, like hands down great, love listening to his stuff, but historically hasn't been a technical sort of like, you know, tech investor. So when he comes out and calls Bitcoin rat poison, I guarantee you he doesn't actually know what the hell he's talking about, because he hasn't given it the time to actually learn about it, right? Same with media and journalists when they talk about all this shit that each other in crypto. A lot of them haven't put in the time to truly understand it. No. Same with people talking about right-click JPEG NFTs. It's all the same. So it's like, I think, and you know, a lot of people are quick to judge, are quick to make a comment. I've been there, I do it sometimes. I sort of pull myself up, like, it's, you know, no one's perfect, but I think what I'm trying to do when I am asked a topic about something I don't know about, it's like, look, Radley's, I'm not an expert on it. This is my opinion. Probably not right though. Rather than, hey Ben, what's your opinion on this? And I give this like crazy outlandish thing, and I've got no fucking idea what I'm talking about. You know,
it's crazy, isn't it? And my mate, shout out to Joe, he went to a conference recently. It was a developer conference, and there was a person there speaking about NFTs. Had no fucking idea. No idea whatsoever. Probably never bought one in their life. Just talking about how it fits in with software and all this kind of stuff. If you are genuinely, if you ask me about NFTs and software and fitting in and how it worked, I could talk for like at least an hour on like the different mechanisms, why you might want to do it, how it would work, what the trade-offs are, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, people just hammer it. They're like, oh, it's all too hard. It's a scam. No one cares. All this kind of shit. And it's like, if you haven't bought one and you haven't been in a community, if you haven't been rewarded, if you haven't seen price appreciation, if you haven't seen all these mechanics or how a DAO works and how things like bounties and tipping and all of these kind of things work and how they're interconnected, don't even talk on the subject. You need to experience the thing. It's like how can you be a chef if you haven't tasted good food? Like, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely ridiculous, man.
Greg Oakford did a presentation on Saturday on, it was around the NFT evolution and how it's similar to the hip hop culture. And that was one of the most eye-opening experiences listening to Greg.
Tell me about this.
So shout out to Greg. So he was basically comparing, the old school style of going in and buying a record and, this idea of like evolution and culture and society around a particular artist or like a, trend or, album you might buy. And then represented or like compared that when you used to be sort of into that, back in the day versus Web3 and NFT specifically with the different cultures and societies and communities, but just in a digital format. So, you've got the Bored Ape Yacht Club, for example, where you've got like Snoop Dogg and Gary Vee and like Justin Bieber, and they're all like around this particular community and society. It was sort of the same thing back in the hip hop days. And it's like this evolution of like culture integrated just in a digital form. And that was one of the most eye-opening things. He spoke about a few other different things, but it's like, this is just all an evolution. And, what I've tended to find as well in not just markets, but everything life goes in this big circle, whether it be fashion. Like go back a few years ago, no one would be everyone would be wearing jeans, right? And then we went through like 2 or 3 years where like no one wears jeans, right? That's completely off for like younger guys.
Yeah.
And now it's back again, for example. And you just go in this big rotation. Markets go bull and bear cycles. And then you get these things like culture and, whatever else. But there might just be a different evolution through different, technology, for example. Or like, it's the same thing, but happening in, more advanced ways. Really eye-opening.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. You're right. It's the same kind of... And if you think about it, hip-hop was born from a place where it was a very difficult time. There was a lot of, drugs, violence, corrupt police.
Yeah.
There was a lot of unemployment. There was poverty. There were all these things. And there was this thing bubbling to the surface about how people wanted to express themselves. And then, you started to see people like... spoken word, then like kind of hip hop, rapping on corners, breakdancing, spray can, like spraying graffiti, like expressing themselves because of all these things that were happening in their lives. And it's a similar thing now where even though we've got it damn good, it's a lot of people, like especially younger people, they feel like they can't get ahead. Like baby boomers have fucked everything for them. Things are really expensive. Why even bother? I need 10 years experience before I could even get a job. I'm never going to be financially free. And it's like now this is a pathway for people to express themselves and solve all those problems along the way. I think it's a beautiful thing, man. What a great analogy.
Yeah, it was great. No, you did a great talk. Hopefully, Greg runs the NFT FEST, which is the Australian version of that, but for NFTs. It's coming up in November. For shout out. The NFT FEST, just Google it. People are gonna. I think they've just launched the date, so yeah, November something. So check that out. Bergs.
Hey mate, before we move on, hang on. With the Figma thing, I saw this on Twitter. What do you think about Microsoft buying Notion? Because that is wild.
Has that happened?
No. But everyone's talking about it. And okay, so I came from like a traditional kind of like corporate background, government background, and all we did was use Microsoft products. So it was all Word documents, OneNote, Teams, all this kind of stuff. I came over to Collective Shift and I was like, oh, this is a startup. It's going to be fucked. First day was like, I think it was a public holiday for you guys, so it was really good for me.
Right, yeah.
I jumped into Notion and I was like, holy shit, like all your standard operating procedures, everything was beautiful. It was graphic. It was kind of broken up into sections. It was linked. It was able to transfer so much knowledge just within a browser from whoever created it into my head, and it was phenomenal. This is what Microsoft tries to do. So now this is everyone's tipping it as the next thing that's going to get acquired. Well, I reckon it'll be huge for Microsoft.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I don't use any Microsoft products anymore. Like I don't use Microsoft Word, I don't use Excel, I don't use any of that. It's all on Google Docs, Google Sheets, like it's all online. But Notion's awesome. Like that's where we have all our notes. The app's really like sweet, and user interface is great. It's clean, makes sense.
Works.
Yeah, it just works.
It's easy to collaborate.
Yeah. No, I think it's
so good.
I mean, it makes sense.
They should get them. They were coming after Discord. Remember, they tried to buy Discord.
That's right.
Can't remember. I don't think that went through.
Hopefully, they don't buy and ruin Notion.
Fuck,
mate.
Could you imagine?
You had an operation, Bergs, last week,
mate. All right, I had a procedure.
This guy that started the episode. You leave me alone, mate. I had to hold up the whole fort, mate. Who was there last week? No you, no Aman. I was fucking doing everything.
What were you doing? You're down the fucking pub, mate. Be honest.
I just took 4 days off.
I talked to the boys. Ben wasn't even there. I saw the recording of the all hands meeting, and it was done in like 20 minutes. I'm like, mate, this guy's done nothing.
Yeah.
no detail, no nothing.
Because you weren't there,
how's
mate.
it going, guys? Oh yeah, nice.
Because you weren't there. There was no bullshit talk from you. We could just actually get some proper
Mate,
worked out.
this is what proper leadership and management is about. Communicating with your team, making sure that they understand. That's why it runs so well, mate. These are things you'll learn with experience, Ben.
Yeah, mate. You notice it ran a lot more smoothly when you weren't there, mate. So to take it.
Maybe I should just take more time off, mate.
It was no difference, mate, when you were gone. It was still the same work I'd done.
Fuck's sakes. Shit. Oh, mate. They probably got more done because I wasn't harassing them. All right. So last week I did the hard thing and I went to hospital and I got a procedure done. And the reason I'm talking about this on the pod is because I think generally men are very bad with their health, especially around my age where you're approaching your 40s and your 40s or you're going to your 50s. We're very bad at speaking up about things that are wrong. We don't really go to doctors. We're like, oh, she'll be right. And there are some things that you can do in your life to seriously prevent disease. And these are things like, I think it's like how your heart's kind of working, like calcium and plaque checks, all this kind of stuff, skin checks. And another one is colonoscopy. So these are things that everyone absolutely hates. I went in and I got a gastroscopy, which is down the throat, colonoscopy, which is up the rear. And everyone's like, fuck that. I'm never doing it. It sounds ridiculous. And I want to talk about it because honestly, it's not that bad at all. Like the worst part was the prep. And the super important thing about this is if you look at bowel cancer, that is, and I didn't go in for bowel cancer, it was just kind of gut related issues, but they check while they're there. It's completely preventable. It is the number one, that's like the biggest cancer because it's men and women. And basically it starts off as polyps, which can be removed and they sometimes turn into cancer. So all the kind of doctors I've talked to in pods and everything, they recommend having a colonoscopy every 3 to 5 years. But at the moment, it's only after when you're 50, you have your first, and that's every 3 to 5 years after that. So that's a very long time. And even another thing that pushed me down this road was a guy I went to high school with, fittest guy on the footy team and everything, stage 4 bowel cancer when he was 38. So he's my age, stage 4 bowel. And now he's got like a stoma and he has to wear one of those bags and everything. And I was like, nah, look, I'm not gonna be a wuss. I'm gonna do the fucking hard thing. So bit the bullet and went in. So let me tell you about the process. So I went in on the Tuesday, right? So you start on the Sunday. The Sunday you have to eat like low residue foods. So it's like white rice, white bread. You can have like jam, honey, Vegemite, chicken without skin. So it's not too bad, not too bad. But as you know, mate, I'm lifting and I'm a hungry boy. I get hungry, son.
You're a big boy.
So like on the Monday, it's liquids only. So literally the whole day you're drinking like 2-minute noodle broth, no noodles. You can have like barley sugars. You can drink fruit juice. You can have coffee and tea, no milk. It is just like, it's not a fun day.
Were you just angry all day?
See, I thought I would get hangry, but I was just more like, just sad and didn't have much energy, mate. Like that was it, right? But
just like contemplating life, like
yeah. But then, okay, you have to do prep. So basically, you got to clean your bowel out. So what you have to do, 5 p.m. on the Monday, and you got your thing on the Tuesday. You got to drink like 250 mils of this fluid. You're like, great, down that. 4 hours later, another 250, and then the next morning, drink another 250. So drank the thing, and I'm like, yeah, I feel all right, great. A couple of hours goes by, and I'm like, oh, I've got to go to the toilet. Went to the toilet, come back, and then it's like literally like every half an hour, you go into the toilet, and it just cleans everything out, mate. And by the end of it, you're just sick of fucking going to the toilet. And it's like, we've all had the shits before, but this is different because you don't feel sick, you don't feel in pain, you're just going to the toilet. And honestly, that was the worst part of it, is just having to go to the toilet.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
And the next day, you take your prep, you go down there, and basically you go in, really great experience. The anaesthetist comes in. He was a lad. I was talking to him. Proceduralist comes in. Then they like wheel you in. So I'm talking to this guy and I'm like, oh, I used to work across the road at FSH. And he's like, yeah, cool. I'm like, do you know this person or that person? He's like, no, I don't know them. Oh, I'm not sure. Like he thought I was just talking shit or something. Like he's obviously just like goes in there and he because the anesthetic department is so huge, not everyone knows everyone. Anyway, rock up, talk to the anaesthetist, and he goes, he starts talking to me. He's like, 50% of people do this operation without any anesthesia. And immediately, before he could finish his sentence, I was like, fuck that. And I was like, and everyone heard me because we're all lined up in like holding bay. There's all these people there. And I'm like, no way. And then like, they can either do a thing where they put you in like twilight or one where they give you a general anesthetic. And obviously the deeper you go, the more risk you have, all that stuff. So I got the twilight one. And he's like, look, you'll either remember something or you won't. So anyway, cool. He wheels me in, go in, talk to everyone like, this is your nurse, this is that. And they're like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I work for a crypto education company and we do research and analysis. And they're like, oh, crypto. And like, because the proceduralist, so the gastroenterologist, when I went to his office, right, we're talking about Bitcoin. He's like, oh, I bought some of that shit like 8 or 9 years ago. Like I had to buy it in China to buy a watch that I wanted. And I was like, oh man, you should have kept it. And I'm like, do you have any now? He's like, no. He's like, I'm like, mate, you got to buy some. And we like half the console, we're just talking about Bitcoin, right? So anyway, we go in there and then the lady, he's like, oh, this is your nurse. She's like, oh yeah, I bought this like random shit coin. She's like, oh, I lost all my money. I'm like, oh, so you shouldn't be buying that. She's like, how do you even invest in crypto? And I'm like, look, 70-30, Bitcoin, ETH. And they all come in, they're like, oh, it's a scam, it's this, it's that. And the guy's like injecting me and I'm just like, blah, 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 and just like passed out like mid-sentence.
Just buy Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin.
I was just like, it was so funny because I was selling it so hard. I'm like, oh no, you got to base it on the fundamentals, mate. This is why you need it. It's a bear ass.
This guy's just talking shit. Just pop the
oh, mate. They're like, he's probably delirious from no food. Anyway, like as I'm I have the procedure. So you go under, you have the procedure, and then basically I just woke up. I didn't remember anything. Woke up while they were wheeling me back, and that was just like as soon as I woke up, I'm like knock knock bang bang with the food out. I was like so hungry, man. So like they're so good though because you haven't eaten in a very long time. So they bring out like all these sandwiches, like but they're the good hospital sandwiches. So you have like a chicken one, a cheese and ham one, an egg one, and something else.
Fuck. Oh.
What?
Chris.
So good.
Oh fuck! Oh my god!
Oh man!
I'm spilling my coffee everywhere. Oh
mate! You gotta have a Powerade to get rid of those cramps.
Oh my! Oh shit! I've never had a cramp so bad.
Oh my god! For those listening, Ben just jumped up. He's like, oh, Chris!
That's still grabbing, mate. Oh my god!
Mate.
I'm so sorry.
Mate.
Fucking hell!
That is so good,
mate. I jumped up. My fucking mic hit the deck. Coffee's all through my bag.
Amazing.
Oh mate,
amazing.
Oh my
rub it out, mate. Rub it out.
Jesus Christ.
All right, while you're doing that, I'll finish the story.
Keep going.
So, beautiful sandwiches. Had tea, coffee, apple juice. Had those biscuits and the good biscuits where you get like, what are they? The shortbread with cream and like an Oreo. And then cheese and crackers. And I had like a couple of rounds of that. And it was awesome. I was out there. Had the best sleep of my life. Slept amazingly that night. Woke up the next day. You don't feel anything. You're not sore. You don't feel sick. It was great, man. And they ended up actually finding 2 polyps in my bowel, so which is a very normal thing. But what they do while they're doing it with their little like half-centimeter tube, they just take those polyps off. They just lance them off, send them off to the lab. Brilliant. Took a couple of other like from my like down here esophagus and that kind of stuff. Took a couple of samples, sent them off to the lab. See if I've got any allergies or anything like that. He's like, mate, you're perfect. See you in 5 years. Done.
Do you go to a public or private hospital?
This one I went to a private one, and the reason for that is I think. Well, the reason I went there is because I'm not severe at all. So if I was going public, I would have to wait a very long time.
Yeah.
My mum works at the hospital, could probably get me in earlier because she knows the people there. But again, I don't want to go ahead of people that are having really bad bowel problems and need to go in, right? Like I could wait this one out.
Yeah.
And generally, like when you earn a certain level of income, you have to get... you don't have to, but you get private health insurance anyway. Otherwise, you just pay the Medicare levy or whatever it is, and it's the same amount in Australia. So, went private this time,
nice,
and it was a brilliant experience, man. It was so good. I've got no dramas about in 5 years about going for another one, and this is honestly to everyone out there, a call to action.
Yeah.
If you've got any issues or you're concerned about anything, 50 is if you have no concerns whatsoever, and the government's very conservative. If you've got some concerns, you've got bloating, IBS, whatever you may have, then just book it in and just go for it. Get your shit sorted out.
Good on you, man. That's really good. I don't think that's across the board. Like Australians, where especially dudes, I think we're all pretty much like, yeah, she'll be right, mate. Don't worry about it. Get in there and get some help. Ask, and also even speaking to someone, even over the past 12, 18 months, well, probably 2 or 3 years now, I've sort of seen a therapist on and off based on just different things going on in my life. It's great. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's good.
How good
to have the help.
How good a therapist. So I've gone to 2 different therapists, and I've seen them like 3 points in my life, and each one was for about 3 or 4 sessions. And my God, like they're like extreme things when it's like, my father passed away, my mum had stage 4 cancer. There was a lot of stuff going on and I couldn't cope. And just the way they help to mediate the thoughts in your head and give you strategies, it's literally like going to a personal trainer or going to a physio. But there's this stigma around, they're going to mess with your mind, or you're a crazy person if you see a therapist. When in reality, it is the best form of self-care that you can give yourself.
100%. And just by talking to someone
it's
else,
amazing.
It can
Even
really help.
Yeah, and someone that can guide you that's actually trained in the thing. Even like Chamath, he starts off his week with his therapist and he has a session with them. And at the end of the week, he has a session with the therapist and his wife so he can go into the weekend.
That's cool.
Just with like a clear head, thoughts and all that kind of stuff. It's just, really cool. It's brilliant. It's a really, if you can afford it and if you can get into one, absolutely go for it.
Amazing.
Because it's a huge crisis at the moment. Like people are in crisis and you try and book in, they're like, yeah, I'll see you in a year and a half. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's booked out.
It's super underserviced.
Cool, Bergs. Well, that's good. Yeah. So, call to action there. If you've got any niggles or even just concerns or just need a check-up, just fucking go do it. Get it done.
Get it sorted. And like originally on the pod, I talked about like the stomach issues that I had. They're pretty much all gone. And I went to see my GP. I went to see a clinical nutritionist. Went to see an allergist, and then this gastroenterologist.
Yeah.
And yeah, that does cost a bit of money. It wasn't mass amounts, but it was definitely worth it. And it was over like a series of months. So each consult, I might have been like 80 or 90 bucks out of pocket. But for me, that was worth spending on my health to solve all those problems. And now I just have no worries whatsoever.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. That's really good. Because you were having, it affects everyday life, right? Like when you sort of constantly thinking about it and you just feel like shit. Like
yeah. And for me, it was like, it made me anxious because like if your stomach's like bubbling away or, you're feeling bloated or you got reflux, you're constantly thinking about it. It's taxing. You don't sleep well. You get cranky. You get mad at like, your missus and your kid and all this kind of stuff. It was really affecting my life. So it was well worth going down that path and getting that sorted. And it is very hard as well. It's hard to start with your GP and go from there. You'll see different consultants and specialists along the way. They'll only be interested in their narrow area and their area of expertise and the thing that they can solve. They don't want to hear about anything else. So it's up to you to kind of advocate for yourself and piece it all together through those specialists that you see. Yep. It's probably the hardest thing to do, and it's probably the biggest complaint about the health system.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome, man. Let's do middle of the week.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
Or do you want to go...
Oh, do you want to do... I'll do my EO thing first. Let's do that.
Sorry, I missed that. Yeah, go for that.
Yeah. All right, so I jumped into my first Entrepreneurs Organisation accountability group. So this was awesome. Mate, it was really sick. So we met up at Ando's workplace in the city. There was 4 other people there, and then Ando, who was leading it. And it was just great. We all rock up, we're all smiles, and we just get straight into it with the one-word opener. They pass around a sheet with all the different things on there, and I'm like, I don't need it. I'm amped. Let's go. I was mad keen. Any personal growth, I'm an absolute sucker for. And we had to go through and talk about ourselves for 10 minutes. And it covered things like your career highlights, your family, your hobbies, and what you want from the group. And we went through like a little bit of, how this is going to work. And it was just awesome. Like every month you'll have to present on like one of the 5% challenges that you have. You do this, don't you?
Yeah.
Is that what you have to do?
Yeah.
Can you explain it? Because I haven't done it yet.
The 5%?
Yeah.
So with experience sharing, so where you get the most improvement in life, right, is not talking about when you need some assistance or there's areas you need help on. Usually we go into this comfortable thing where we don't really want to talk about the really the really niggly stuff, the stuff that we really don't talk to anyone about. You know, when someone says, "How you going?" It's like, "Yeah, no, I'm going good." What we're trying to do in EO is get out the bits that you don't talk to anyone about, the 5%, the bottom or the top. So think about your life in like a fuel meter. You know, we in EO to get experience shares on problems or just want to share good stuff. The 5% at the top, the very best 5% you just want to share and, you know, sort of talk about experiences, or the 5% at the very bottom, the stuff that, you know, is niggling in the back of your head, that you sort of constantly thinking about, but probably usually stuff you don't want to talk to anyone about because it is really tough to talk about. That's the stuff that you want to share. Because we get the most growth.
Awesome. That is, I can't wait for that as well. And they were saying, like, because I'm in the key executive program and you're in the founder one, where, you know, sometimes there's these issues going on and you'll bring them to the group, you'll structure them in a certain way, we'll be able to talk about our experiences, so you've got 5 other minds around it as well. And then it'll make it a much stronger argument for either for you to go and do the thing or present it to your CEO or whatever it may be.
Yep.
So, yeah, I can't wait for that. It was awesome. It was open, it was comfortable, and people were talking about their challenges straight away. And the first thing that stuck out for me was just, wow, I really don't have a lot of challenges in this business. Like people challenges, or this person's an asshole, or how do I get this person motivated? Just common business or communication. It's always like, what are we building? How do we get there? It's more like a market kind of challenges. And then there was a thing where people were talking about their CEOs and they're like, oh, what's your CEO like? I'm like, well, he's a fucking legend. Like, and it kind of twigged as they were talking in my head where there's not one thing that I wouldn't call you about. Like I've never had that before where I could be completely open with my CEO. Like previously, like they're, you know, CEOs and leaders I've worked with, they're a certain way, you know, what to talk about, you know, you'll be dismissive on certain things, but you're quite open. You want to hear it all. You might not have the answer, but you'll take it away. And there's not one thing I wouldn't call you about. And I realized that's a really awesome feeling for me where I don't have to let things brood under the surface, try and solve them myself, be like, this is unfair, this is fucked. I'm like, no, I'm not going to bed like this. Pick up the phone, Ben, what the fuck? And you just be like, oh, I didn't know, or let's solve this, or we'll do this, whatever it is. And immediately that cognitive deload for me, it just allows me to sleep better, function better. I don't have that thing niggling at my brain. So fucking well done, mate. Like that's awesome.
Thanks, man. I think it's good. It's probably just natural. Like it's not something I've cognitively like, you know, thought about as something that needs to happen. I think it's just naturally happened as a way of like building a good culture in the business. It's always been open communications. I think that's a takeaway for any other people in businesses. Like how much good work do you do when you're not worrying about all the political bullshit? I hate all of that. You know, you've gone through the corporate world. I had it when I was a basketball referee. Like it's just so mentally draining and taxing. You know, it
is. You literally wake up tired. You have all those conversations in your head, and you feel there's something either unjust or there's not enough equity, or you're not getting recognized, or whatever it may be. And to be able to bring that up and get it solved is epic, man. And even the way we've structured our meetings, we've structured those in a certain way where the agenda in them addresses those issues. Like you have to bring those up. You have to have the hard conversation. You have to recognize someone else for the efforts that they've done. You know, so we're already thinking that way during the week, and it goes a long way to reducing and ameliorating those problems.
Yeah, totally agree.
So epic. So yeah, love it. I'll report back like in a month about how the first one went, and it should be awesome. I'm just excited about it. I like getting around my peers and either, you know, just talking to them, hearing new ideas on all these weird businesses that I've never even thought of. Like one does like anything to do with ropes. So it's like, you know, if you've got to clean the side of a building, or you've got a mining rig, or you got whatever, if you have to get to a weird position and you have to do something, they do that. And there's like an events hire one, there's a translating one. There's another guy, I'm not too sure what he does, but like, it's just all these different businesses and all the different challenges they have is just so exciting. And it just gives you a different world perspective, which I love.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I think back to community as well. I think that's what I love about the NFT collection. Someone asked me, you know, different ways to get into crypto, because I quit school, right? I hate the normal courses and education, and like it just shits me to tears. So like ways to learn for me is like actually talking to people, getting into a community that you actually like. And community, you know, what does that mean? Well, okay, well, it's like, you know, meeting other people that have similar interests. You know, so whether you buy the AFL new NFT or the Elvis Presley NFT, or you go and buy the NBA Top Shots NFT because you like basketball, and now you're talking shit and talking crypto with people like you're in the, what's your Bears thing, Bergs? What's the
Drop Bears, the lads,
the boys, right? You play poker, right? And you just
so, you know,
good. It's good fun, right? Good Aussie fella. So like, I think that's the best thing for me about learning is like meeting similar people and just learning through sort of conversations.
That's great. Mate, before we get on to gratitude and kindness, something just popped into my head. You had an event earlier in the week and you just made it in time, mate.
Oh,
do you know what I'm talking about? What happened here, mate? You did a Ben.
Bloody other did a Ben. So one thing with me, for those that don't know, I tend to try and do way too much in a particular day and tend to overbook myself and be quite unrealistic about how to do things. So try to slip out. I hadn't played golf in a long time. One of my goals this year was to try and play more golf because it's good for mental health. So slipped away, game of golf with Josh. Left the house keys, the apartment keys, Airbnb keys in the golf bag, which I didn't realise until later after the golf shop had closed because I had to go to a sales thing. Went back and had half an hour to get to the Eureka Sky Tower when I was doing a keynote talk, panel talk at the top of Eureka Sky Tower for High Net Wealth at eToro with the Wallabies. Like the fucking Wallabies were there, right? And
Wow.
I get to the apartment and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my keys. Call the golf shop. Shut. Oh fuck. How am I going to get... I've got half an hour to go. I mean, I'm sitting in fucking shorts, sand shoes and a polo shirt. Like...
Amazing.
Rang up the apartment owner. Didn't answer 4 times. I see her on the other side of the road. I run over to her like, hey, I've lost my keys. Like, do you have a spare set? Yeah, come up the office. Went up the office. Oh, we've lost a spare set. What do you mean you've lost a spare set? Oh, I don't know where it is. Well, okay, well, what are we doing? I'll call the building manager. Building manager doesn't answer. I said, I've got to go. Like, I've got to go talk at this event. Like, what's the ETA? Because I'm going to go to Target or like buy some clothes or do whatever.
Yeah.
I call my mate. He Uber delivers me a set of clothes. Like, mate, I need a favour. Like, I need a whole kit. I'm about to talk in half an hour. Can you Uber deliver me some clothes? So that's on its way. They get a locksmith. The locksmith comes over to the apartment. But the locksmith can only get you in the door. He can't get you to level 15. You need the fob to get up the floors. So we're playing Russian roulette with 4 elevators because someone was up at floor 15 earlier. So she's up there pressing the up button while we're going in and out of elevators trying to make sure we're in the elevator that takes us up. So I'm there with a locksmith sitting in the wrong elevator, like just wait. There's no reception because it's in an elevator. Like it was, mate, ridiculous. Finally get up there. Basically within 4 minutes had gotten in the door. By the way, whatever you've got in your home is not secure. I watched this guy unlock this door literally in 4 minutes without a key.
Mate.
Drilled it down. Like, you're not safe, FYI.
Yep.
Get clothes, get changed, hustle there. They push the event back for an hour. My Uber app doesn't work. I literally can't get an Uber, and I'm in Docklands. So the building manager, or this lady, the Airbnb, drives me to this conference. I go up level 90 like a rocket ship, like my ears pop, walk out, have a drink, bang, walk on stage, start talking about crypto.
Amazing. They delayed it an hour for you, mate. Look at that. VIP.
Yeah,
VIP. Holy shit. And you still made it. What a champion.
Still made it. I had to have a frothy. I took a frothy up on stage and it settled the nerves a little bit.
Oh, definitely, mate. Good on you.
Yeah,
good on you for doing the thing and getting out there, mate.
That's good, though. It's good fun. And then the Wallabies lost and the Bledders like, oh, that's a whole nother conversation. Did you see the end of the game the other night? The Wallabies versus New Zealand?
No, I'm not a rugby guy. I only tune in every now and then.
No, I'm not a rugby guy either, but this was ridiculous, mate. We're up by 2 points. We haven't beaten New Zealand in the Bledisloe Cup in 20 years. We're up by 2 points, 40 seconds to go. The ref calls a delay of game because apparently we held the ball for like a second or two longer than we should have. Ooh. Turns the ball over, New Zealand ball, they score a try, New Zealand win. Game over.
Mate, how filthy would you be?
Filthy, mate. The number one rule I learned as a referee is never be the deciding factor of a game. This referee single-handedly fucking changed the game, mate. He blew the whistle, New Zealand ball, try, game over.
What about when they do that in soccer? Like, literally, like, refs have been, like, shot and stabbed and, like, they get into it, man. Like, especially in those, like, really passionate countries, like, in Europe. Unbelievable.
Right, so, middle of the week.
Hey, let's do gratitude, kindness. Let's knock that off.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Ben, are you grateful or do you have a kindness of the week this week, mate?
I'm grateful for my new suitcases. So, I know that sounds weird.
Tell me about them, mate. What's so special?
I could not bring myself to buy a new suitcase. Do you know how much suitcases are? They're like $500 for a new one. And I was like, no fucking way am I paying $500 for a suitcase. Like, get stuffed. So I was lugging around. Like, I've been on so many fucking flights in like ridiculous 4 months. With my little bag, the handle doesn't work. Like, I'm standing there yanking the thing out, trying to like pull it out, trying to just get it to work. The zip was busted. And then my bigger bag, I couldn't drag it because it was like, you know the trolleys where you can't get the wheels like busted? That's what it was like with my suitcase.
Yeah.
Taking this to Singapore, Dubai, America, it was busted, mate. But couldn't bring myself to buy it. Anyway, it got to a point where I nearly threw my bag over the the Yarra the other day in Melbourne. I was so sick of it. So I was like, right, I'm going to buy these suitcases. Game changer, mate. These suitcases are like a V8. They roll anywhere, they wheel anywhere, they fit everything I need. It's wonderful, mate. So grateful.
This reminds me where you're like, oh, I'm like a V8. My suitcases are like a V8. Oh, mate.
Game changer.
Brilliant. Have you seen the thing, how easy it is to break into a suitcase? Like, you got to look it up. So literally, you get your pen and you put it in the zip and you just open the zip. You can lift out the suitcase, take out whatever you want, and the suitcase is still locked, and you just move the zips around and it locks it again.
Mate, between that and the suitcase, and old mate unlocked my door within 4 minutes without a key. Like, nothing's safe.
You're going to have to shelve your hardware wallet, mate. All right. So my my gratitude.
Just after your colonoscopy, mate. Maybe we'll do it at the same time.
Oh, mate, just go for it. Did you see? I remember one video. You know, Bitlord, how he's like the loosest unit in the planet.
Yeah.
Like he was at his place, and the cops rock up to his house. It was something unrelated. But he's like, "Oh, they're after my crypto. I'm gonna have to boof this." So he takes his hardware. Well, he's like, "I can't do it. I can't do it." It was so good. He's the loosest unit. I love watching his stuff. Oh my god!
Okay.
All right.
What do you got for
all right. So my gratitude is having the tools that I need to succeed. And I really thought about this the other day, where I went to school, I went to uni, and, you know, I'm able to, you know, read. I have the mental faculties, all this stuff, but I've learnt how to learn, which is super important. And I think, like, originally it might have started with like a Tony Robbins book where I actually read something that I wanted to improve myself in uni without a teacher giving it to me or something like that. And I'm thankful that, first of all, I know I can learn how to learn, so I can look up anything on the internet and I can learn it. I know how to use the internet, first of all. That's a huge skill, being able to Google something, find YouTube, a tutorial, set up apps. Amazing. I'm grateful that I'm in crypto. Like, all this and my interests and my skills that I've been able to do from all that learning has led me towards crypto. Being able to start my own business, work with you, and now work with you in the business. And grateful that I can do things like this pod, all because of those being able to learn and becoming the human that I am. So I'm just super grateful that I have the tools I need to succeed. That's just awesome.
I like it. We're very lucky to, like, if you go back a number of years, you don't have the tools to do what we do now, right?
That's exactly it, mate. Like, everything is so open and accessible to us that it's just, it's amazing, man. Like, we're so lucky. There's nothing holding me back from succeeding except myself. That is genuinely the way I feel. There is nothing that I can't learn on the internet or go and build on the internet and sell on the internet. It's totally up to me.
Awesome, dude. Cool.
Mate, meal of the week?
Meal of the week. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. This is your meal of the week. Tell me about it.
This here, my friends, was chicken tacos. Now, I've rotated off the chicken burger into the tacos this week, and I had this today, and my goodness me, for a sore head, rough body, dehydrated, hungover Monday, this just hit everything we needed. So we had this drizzle. It looks like a bit of like aioli / like, I'm not sure, like some of the. I'm not sure exactly.
It looks like fancy sauce, where it's like ketchup and mayo.
Yeah, ketchup and mayo. Honestly, I don't even know what's on this. Like, I think that's like parmesan on top. I don't know what that pink stuff was. That was kind of cool. That was like sort of cold with your warm. That's chicken.
Rhubarb. No, sorry, not rhubarb. What's the other one called? It'll come to me.
And then like not oregano, mate, chives or something on top. I don't even know what's on this thing. All I know is bloody unbelievable. The tortillas were soft, chicken was warm, well cooked, not dry, still sort of juicy. And then I had oh mate, I'm embarrassed to say it. I had a mocktail. I had a alcoholic-free cocktail because I could not bring myself to have any sort of alcohol today. So I had a big, girly-looking passion fruit mocktail with my chicken tacos. And absolutely smashed both of them. This is getting an 8.9 Bergs. It was wonderful. Ooh. I can't give it any high because it's not a chicken burger, but it was top class.
It looks phenomenal. Radish, mate. Radish, that's what it is.
Radish, that's it. Yeah, no, it was good, mate. So with the mix of the warm and the cold and the sauce and the cheese, like, just...
Oh.
Yeah.
And they're open tortillas as well. Like, it just looks... It's well put together. It doesn't look too greasy. Yeah. It's like almost a perfect, like, hangover food because it's not too It's not going to mess you up too much. Mate.
Yeah, and it's not like you're rolling into KFC and you're going to walk out like wanting to sort of just fall asleep and feel bad about yourself because you've just eaten 9,000 calories. Like this is like still sort of healthy. And, just hit all the right spots. So happy with this.
Amazing.
Bergs. Love a good taco.
Are you still on the Goldie, mate?
I'm up on the Goldie. I had this at Surfers, so I went up, had a look around.
Oh,
bit of a wander, mate.
Nice.
Gold Coast is unbelievable. Just quietly, like it is holiday vibes up here, mate. It is like everyone's relaxed, everyone's chill, everyone's just sort of cruising around on skateboards. Oh, mate was riding his bike. I'm going to run him over. He's got his surfboard out one arm and riding a mountain bike up the road.
How good.
Classic.
Yeah, it's chill vibes, man.
Yeah. Mind you, they only watch NRL up here, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, bastards. Well, their footy team sucks, so yeah.
Correct. Anyway, what are you for me?
This was last night, mate. So this is a mushroom risotto, and it was unbelievable. So you got your typical risotto, arborio rice. You got 3 different types of mushrooms, mate. You've got button, you've got enoki, you've got oyster mushroom, you've got broccolini that's cut up and put in there, nicely shaved parmesan over the top, drizzled with truffle oil. Mate, this thing was it was at a pub, so it was a massive serve. Yeah. We got a pub, and someone took it over. It used to be like a degenerate pub, and now it's just like pumping, just packed with people. I just felt I had a big hunger on. I was lifting yesterday, and I had a hunger on, man. And this was a big plate. And I specifically went this one without the chicken and the chicken stock. So this was the vegetarian option. And it had like a really, because they use like, with the chicken one, they put heaps of chicken stock in it and chicken. So it's like really rich and salty, but you can't have that much of it. Yeah. You just feel like you get dehydrated. You don't feel that great. Nice. Had a nice Pinot Noir with this as well, mate. This was just bang on. Bang on.
Can I just say, You've ordered a risotto in a pub. That is a big call, mate. That is dangerous.
Oh, well, this pub, though, they're known for, they've got all this different stuff. Like, they've even got, different crab pastas and crazy steak sandwiches. And I got photos of, my mate's dishes as well. It's more like going to, a bistro or something like that, where they just serve that food, but it's a pub. It's crazy. Yeah. So, I would give this, I reckon, 8.5 out of 10. Okay. Because it was spot on for what it was. Yeah. But oh man, when you have the chicken one with the chicken stock and everything, that's close to a 10 out of 10, but it'll fuck you up.
You're gonna be done.
So mate. and then for dessert, mate, I had this sticky date.
Oh, is it sticky date?
And you had the ice cream, the cream, and it comes out, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, this ain't gonna be it, dirty. This ain't gonna be it. And I took a bite, and I was like, hot damn. It was hot. It had raisins in it, and it had all this beautiful butterscotch sauce over the top. Yeah. And I demolished this thing in under 2 minutes, man. It was just gone. It was delicious. I'll definitely be going back. Let me show you some of my mates' meals. This is my mates, and this is unbelievable. You got the sticky pork sausages, peas, broccolini, mash, just covered in gravy, just unbelievable. And then this one, steak sandwich of the year. So this is actually brisket in the steak sandwich. Ooh. And it's got a French dip on the side. So you got I think it's like a French onion kind of soup. Might even have mushrooms in it. You can dip the steak sanger in there and have a bit of that. Oh, mate. Unbelievable. Good, mate. I'll definitely be going back. It's cracking.
Nice work, mate. Right, what meme have you got? And our spicy. What's the level of spice? We had to edit out half the memes last week. It's fucked.
It was so funny where you get to meme 7 and then it just cuts and it just goes to the end. That's it. We're done.
It was so spicy. Right, what do you got for me?
It was very, very spicy. So I'm going to give a trigger warning for this. Oh, God. And if you like The Little Mermaid, just tune out now. This will ruin a lot of childhoods. All right. So this is the Captain Phillips meme, and it's, look at me. I'm the Little Mermaid now. And it's got the black guy from Captain Phillips with the Ariel wig on his head, the red wig, which is so good. So I watched the trailer of The Little Mermaid, and when you hear a voice or just amazing music, and you just get goosebumps and you get really emotional. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting much. I was expecting it. And she starts to sing Part of Your World. And my God, she blew away the original woman that sang this back in the day. Her voice is incredible. I'm like, bang, that's why they chose her. Like, they don't care, like, you have to look like Ariel, you have to be white or whatever.
Yeah.
Her voice is absolutely incredible. She smashed it, and I can't wait to see this. This is like going to be in my top 10 movies, mate. I'm going to look at, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to cry, I'm going to reminisce. It's going to be amazing. I love The Little Mermaid.
Awesome, man.
That's all there is to it, mate.
Give us a review afterwards.
Absolutely. It's coming out next year. I can't wait.
Amazing.
So good.
Cool, man. I think that's it. I'm off to Dubai on... sorry, just quickly. I'm on Skynews Arabia tomorrow. Like, the fucking Sky News. Like, the second biggest media network in the United Arab Emirates. Like, it goes across Dubai, Iraq, Iran, like, Saudi Arabia. They're doing a live cut to me tomorrow night. Live feed tomorrow night. In Arabic. So it's going to be live, the question's going to be live translated to me while they ask me around Web3 education and the Australian perspective and what I'm coming to Dubai for, to bring education to the masses in Arabia.
That is
Arabia. Yeah.
That is awesome. And seriously, mate, like, please tell me you're going somewhere to do this and you're not using the hokey internet I'm looking at the moment, because you look like you've got 8 pixels comprising your head. Like, mate, are you going somewhere, or are you just doing it on your laptop?
I was going to do it here, but it sounds like I can't do that.
Mate, you need to get better internet. Otherwise, they're just going to look at you and be like, he doesn't even give us the respect of having decent internet.
It's
you
at
can't
10:30.
disrespect all those.
It's at 10:30 tomorrow night.
Mate, you need to sort it out. You got a day to sort it out. Surely you can do this, mate.
The fuck am I going to do?
Look at the little cog spinning in your head, mate.
I tell you what, they're not spinning very fast now. I'll think about it tomorrow. Anyway,
that's it, mate.
So
see if you can go somewhere or get better internet, or
yeah. Anyway, and then off to Dubai on Friday. So speaking at a conference on Sunday, Monday. Got to be meetings with investors. It's all happening, mate. So I'll be next week.
How long have you been in Dubai for?
Well, there's another conference that want me to speak, so it's probably going to be close to 3 weeks, I reckon. Meetings.
Whoa, that's huge, mate.
Meeting some family officers. Got some meetings. Doing some events.
3 weeks in the desert, mate. Have you been to Dubai before? Mate, you are going to die.
This white,
like,
pasty
seriously,
skin, mate. I want to come back like a tomato.
Oh, you're going to be red, mate. You're gonna. I want to see you in the full Arab getup, wearing like the white clothes and the headgear and everything, man.
Mate,
just like dress how they dress, mate. You got to, or you won't survive.
I copped it today. I usually just cop it from you. I went for a massage, and the lady goes, "Have you always been Ranger?" I was like, "Whack!" She's like, "You know your kids."
Brutal.
She's like, "You know your kid's gonna be Ranger, right?" I was like, "Well, fuck, you know." I have to balance it out.
How brutal! How brutal!
I was like, "You always been?" I was like, "I'm not Ranger. Like I'm, Bergs will call me Ranger, but
yeah."
I was like,
"Oh, you're slightly ginger. I wouldn't call you Ranger. You're definitely pasty." But like, mate, for your masseuse, you're a customer, and she's laying you out.
Mate, I don't pay to get lit up by the masseuse. I'm like, fucking hell, love. Like, Jesus, give us a rest. I cop from a co-host.
You just got one of those heads that... You got a head that needs regular panel beating, mate. You just got to light you up whenever you can. You're just a beacon for hatred.
I'm like a satellite.
So good. Oh, mate.
Right, I'm leaving. I'm sinking in, right?
Mate, what a good episode. We started off with you choking on your drink, which is amazing. We're going to keep that in. Then you had a bloody cramp halfway through.
Mate, I don't know if my mic... Hopefully our listeners can hear me through the mic.
I could still hear you. Everything was fine. It was just hilarious. I can't wait to see this footage again. Mate, you're a mess. You're very not well put together at all. You're basically barreling through life sideways. I don't know how you survived, but mate, good on you for having a go.
We feel sorry for you, Ben, but keep going.
Yeah. So good.
Thanks everyone for listening. Enjoy. Please, send this to a friend if you think they'll be valuable, and leave us a review. And yeah, we'll see you next week from Dubai. See you, Bergs.
Awesome. Thanks, champions.
See you guys.
See you later.